Es den Fragedienstag. Question Tuesday, people. First video of 2012. So, happy 2012. First off, since it is Question Tuesday, let me explain something. I bleached my hair. I bleached my hair so that I could dye it another color. Unfortunately, so many people like it this color, which I do not, that I'm going to see how long I can tolerate it before I dye it. So, there you go. Pink and blonde. Woo! Put my hood back on so I don't feel so horrible. Okay. I got really good questions from people, and so I actually split them up so that I have questions for other Tuesdays. So question one for today is from Brittany, and this actually applies to my other YouTube channel. But the question is, why do they call you Crazy Baby Jane? They didn't start calling me Crazy Baby Jane until I started calling me Crazy Baby Jane. Being named Jane, I always got the movie reference, Baby Jane. And I added the crazy part to differentiate myself from the movie, which is kind of funny considering Baby Jane was, in fact, crazy. So, not a very interesting answer, but that's why I am frequently known as Crazy Baby Jane. Second question, also from Brittany. What kinds of media do you use most in your artwork? Lately, I have been doing more sculpture than paintings. And in my sculptures, I use pretty much anything I can lay my hands on. Nails, screws, chains, plastic forms, plaster when I need to make something that I don't have in any other form, styrofoam, real hair, fake hair, real blood, fake blood. And lately in my sculptures, I have been using all of those most often. Obviously, I'm going to be a bit of a smart ass here and say in my artwork, I most often use paint, acrylic to be exact, and that includes my sculptures. Demonica asked me some good questions, but I'm only going to use one in this particular episode. And she said, what scene in your writing, or asked, what scene in your writing has made you laugh the hardest or cry the most? Okay, now this, again, I'm going to not correctly answer the question. What has made me laugh the hardest of everything I've ever written is actually a typo. And I still giggle when I think about it, even though I made this typo over a year ago. And it's actually from a novel that's not even finished yet. And the typo read, I gotta remember it. She continued to stare at the door long after he shit it behind him. And I didn't catch the typo for 3 months. Because when I read what I write, I have a tendency for my brain to read what's supposed to be there and not what is actually there. So after my brain finally saw, she continued to stare at the door long after he shit it behind him, I laughed so hard I couldn't correct the typo for about 10 minutes. Because quite frankly, if someone shut a door behind him, I'd be looking at it long afterwards as well. As for actual writing, not typos, that has made me laugh or cry the hardest. I actually haven't had any. I have written like journal entries that have made me cry when I'm writing them, but that's very different because the crying has to do with the emotion involved in the blog, and I believe your question is aimed towards my fiction writing. And let's see, that's for next time, that's for next time, that's for next time, that's for... Okay. And then from a question from my Numa, Jean Frank, I like saying it that way. If you could be any supernatural creature of your choice, safe area for transformation, which would you be? I'm reading this question as in if I could shapeshift into any supernatural creature, because I wouldn't want to be a supernatural creature all the time. I'm not particularly fond of being human, but that's what I am, and that's how I learn stuff. So I'm possibly changing your question. I would like to be able to shapeshift into a dragon. Probably because I'm Year the Dragon, but also because I really, really like them, and I don't really hear very often. You know, you hear vampires and people turning into werewolves and just plain wolves, and of course, a long time ago, vampires could turn into wolves and bats and mist and whatever. But I would like to turn into a dragon. And to be perfectly honest, I would not want to be a supernatural creature because there are too many negatives in my mind that go along with that. So those are the questions I chose for this Tuesday. And I have a really long list of things, but you'll have to wait till later. So there you go. First question, Tuesday of 2012. I'm sure I didn't enlighten anybody, but there you go. Send me more questions and I shall answer them.